Sanchez, and I'm talking about stereotypes. Stereotypes are qualities assigned to groups of people related to their race, nationality, and sexual orientation. Because they generalize with groups of people in manners that lead to discrimination, people tend to ignore the diversity within groups. Stereotypes need to be stopped. However, in the United States, for example, racial groups are linked to stereotypes such as being good at math, being really athletic, and dancing. In the past, the family or school circumstances had the greatest impact on children's minds with stereotypes, especially being around the dinner table and having grandparents and families talk about it, puts a negative image into the children's head. However, the internet has become the most powerful source that influences the people's thought of a stereotype. Stereotypes have created a distortion of how every individual should be. Racial stereotypes are constructed beliefs that all members of the same race share. The attributed characteristics are usually negative. We've made an enormous progress has been made since the days of slavery. However, stereotypes that support it are still very popular and around. Still, it seems that many people are unaware of the remaining stereotypes, negative attitudes, and oppression of African Americans. The negative effects that stereotyping causes in people is a various list of reasons. Some of the negative effects are harm, poor performance, and bad health. These individuals look for information that supports stereotypes. Therefore, encouraging people to recognize the information that is consistent with stereotypes, it may be helpful in dispelling damaging stereotypes within society.
Sam's. Today I'll be talking to you about black female stereotypes and other female stereotypes. The first stereotype I'll be talking about is the mammy. The mammy was a very dark-skinned, pitch black woman with shiny white teeth. She was very large and obese. She took care of the slave master and his family. She would usually wear a calico dress with a red or white type of headscarf. She was asexual. She was very unattractive. Did not have any feminine looks or figure. Looked like a man, so to speak. And the next one I'll be talking about is the tragic mulatto. The tragic mulatto was a female version of the tragic mulatto. Her life was indeed very tragic, like it says in her name. She was a light-skinned female born with a slave master as a father and a black female slave as a mother. She believed herself to be white and free, that is, until her father passed, and then they found the Negro blood in her and reprimanded her to slavery. Next, I'll be talking about the Jezebel. The Jezebel was a harlot, also kind of like a tragic mulatto, but not the exact type. She was usually raped by slave owners and treated poorly. She was also beaten by the slave owners. It was just a bad life for her. Next, I'll be talking about the Sapphire. The Sapphire is a black female who's very hard-headed, so to speak, and dominating. She likes to dominate her male counterparts and females as well. She dominated the males, or maybe it would be her husband even, by putting him down verbally with verbal insults or beating him. Next, I'll be talking about the welfare queen. The welfare queen, as we all know, was brought up by former President Ronald Reagan in his speech where he said women on welfare had 80 names, 30 different addresses, 12 different social security numbers, earned an income of over $150,000 per month or per year, I believe, and basically used veteran benefits that her husband may have had if her husband was in warfare, was a veteran in warfare, to better herself. Finally, we'll be talking about the bad bitch. As we all know, the bad bitch has been characterized through hip-hop and hip-hop music throughout this day and age, and especially in this generation, where the female is
and I'm here to talk about black male stereotypes and male stereotypes in general. The first one I'm going to be covering is the Uncle Tom. The Uncle Tom is a gentle and humble slave. He's also a Christian slave. He's very obedient to his master. And the examples of Uncle Tom would have been like Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks, or Samuel Jackson as the butler in the movie Django. The next one that we're going to be covering is the Sambo. The Sambo is a very happy-go-lucky slave. One that is similar to personality and humor as a child. Examples of the Sambo would be Shango from the movie Sankofa. And the next one we're going to be covering is Zip Coon. Zip Coon is the stereotype used to label people as more of a comedian. He makes fun of black people and uses their own humor against them. So an example of that would have been Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle. They use that all the time in their stand-up. The stereotype we're going to be talking about is the thug or the gangster, which describes African American males as being criminals or animalistic people. And most people think that they deserve to be, or they deserve like a sentence or like that they deserve death for everything that they what they do, and more so like that. And it relates to people, and it's mostly seen in the media, and you mostly see and the people that can relate to this especially are that they show that they are the thug or the gangster is Tupac, and especially Richard Sherman, especially recently since the whole Super Bowl incident and everything. And that concludes my presentation about stereotypes in the African American males.
Hey, this is Cameron, and I'm talking about how stereotypes are presented in media. We kind of talked about this a little bit in class, and we had a homework assignment that Dr. Johnson wanted us to bring in certain products that targeted race. A lot of the things that people brought in were food products, the syrup that was shaped like the mammy figure, and also different other food products like tortilla chips. A lot of tortilla chips have Mexican, something that has to do with Mexican, and then also other types of food target different races. It's not just food though. Other companies things like soap and things like that target black people, saying that they were dirty or that they weren't clean and things like that, which was really shocking to a lot of us. And then so a lot of companies target races to get their products out there on the market. Also in media, you can find different stereotypes all over TV on so many different shows. The other day we were watching the Boondocks, and I think we should talk about this in class also, about how they have Uncle Ruckus, who's the Uncle Tom, and he's want more to the white people. Also other shows like Family Guy and American Dad, those shows make fun of different things like that, so they show it a lot on shows like that. Yeah, in different shows, even sometimes they don't even mean to, but it just comes out that they're stereotyping different people. Other shows on TV, like the news, for example, make certain situations sound worse than they are. For example, if you have a black-on-black crime, a lot of times people assume that it's gang-affiliated, or that the black person was mad or something. And then if you have a white-on-black crime, a lot of times the white person is made to seem like the victim, and the black person is made to seem like the suspect, when honestly sometimes it's not even how it goes. Other things, there are other stereotypes, not just against black people. For example, for Mexican people, they say that they all hop the border, or they all know how to cook, or other things like that. For Asians, they say they have chinky eyes. They say they're bad drivers and things like that. And then for white people, a lot of times people will say they can't dance, they have no rhythm. Other stereotypes would be they have privilege for some certain situations. But yeah, so it's not just black people.
And this concludes our presentation.